Actually, I think I should may have shared something on Facebook, but I know that it's yeah, on Amazon, it's in order. Season 4 for Invincible is March. The Boys is April, and then I think Spider Noir is in May. So
Wow.
it's about to be a pretty badass spring for superheroes on Prime.
The one I'm really curious about um, is Netflix got it. So BBC has already started putting out The Lord of the Flies. They did a
Oh,
brand new modern Lord of the Flies. And that's already it started February 8th in the UK. And it's Netflix is the one that got it. So they're going to release it soon. I don't know if they're going to release all four up. Maybe they're waiting for it to finish and they'll release all four at once. And so we'll see about that. The other show that I want to watch, I feel like somebody in your feed watched it. I don't know how many episodes it is a season. But have you heard of Paradise?
actually, no.
I think it's
Paradise.
Sterling K. Brown.
Oh, you know what? I think I've actually seen it in the interstitials. I think it was on Hulu maybe. And I was like,
Well,
I thought
yeah,
it was
yeah, it's Hulu
familiar.
and Disney Plus. Yeah, yeah, it's not even, it wasn't even on
Yeah.
TV, and it's
Yeah. I did see the
so it's short,
interstitial.
8 episodes a season. So
Okay.
um, I somebody on your feed talked about we were talking about something else, and they were like, it's crazy. Like it's supposed to be. I watched the first episode and then I forgot to watch more. But Sterling K.
Post-apocalyptic.
Brown
Okay.
is a um, Secret
James
Service
Marsden.
agent.
Okay.
Yeah, and James Marsden is the president. And in that episode, the president gets murdered. And it seems like maybe they think he is the culprit. I don't remember how the first episode ended, um, but it's supposed to just get like kind of, I don't know if sci-fi is the right word.
Well, honestly, it says right here, political thriller, post-apocalyptic, and science fiction. And it's
Yeah,
created by Dan Fogelman. It sounds familiar. Um, oh.
because he's
Uh,
the founder of Subway.
right.
Uh,
Cars, Bolt, Tangled, and Crazy Stupid Love. He was a screenwriter, but he also did like The
I
Neighbors,
actually love those
Gallivant.
movies.
Okay.
He did
And this
Gallivant.
is and then This Is
Gallivant
Us.
is fucking fun, dude. That explains how he knows Sterling K. Brown,
Yeah, with
or
This
you
Is
know,
Us as well. Yeah. So
um,
it looks like he has a pretty varied. I mean, I see him as more of like comedy, but then This Is Us I know is supposed to be like heart-wrenching.
very dramatic,
So
very
yeah.
dramatic. And he wrote 33 episodes of that. Um,
Okay.
and Life itself, I think, was a drama too.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Well,
Oscar Isaac. Oh, that's actually got a really good cast. Isaac, Olivia Wilde, Annette Bening, the cute one, Olivia Cook, Gene Smart, Mandy Patinkin. Damn, Antonio Banderas.
is this for Gallivant or what?
No, this is Life itself. Gallivant was like a ridiculous musical comedy TV series.
Okay.
Like it was over the top, but in a great way. I mean, it was fun. It was really fun. It was definitely like out of place compared to everything else at the time because it was what 2015, and it was like olden times, like knights and kings and stuff.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it was funny. It was really funny. Um, but yeah, so definitely. I mean, even going back that far, that's comedy, right? Like you look at his stuff. I think Life itself was a drama, and then This Is Us was a drama. But that was
His
2018. I guess
later
he
stuff
wrote.
is sorry.
Yeah, he wrote Pitch or wrote on Pitch in 2016 was about that was about a black young girl who was trying to make it in the major leagues as a pitcher, which
Hmm.
obviously has never happened before. There's never been a woman in professional baseball or
Yeah.
major league baseball, and so I think that when people were upset because it got canceled on a cliffhanger where it seemed
Mm,
like she was going to get called up. So her whole journey to make it, and then we don't know if she made it or not.
wow.
Yeah. So
Good
that was
cast
a good one.
though. He gets a lot
Yeah.
of he gets solid people. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Um he's probably a good guy to work with. And it's the same production company. 20th Century Fox Television and Rhode Island Avenue Productions. They're the same people who work on who doing the most recent one, Paradise.
Hmm.
So, and he's also an executive producer on Only Murders in the Building. So, which I've
Okay.
never watched, but I know that's supposed to be,
That
it's one
one's
of the
fun.
shows.
That's fun. If you like um Steve Martin and Martin Short,
Mhm.
it's great. And Selena Gomez is fucking adorable in that. Like it's really good.
You know what's funny? As a
Um,
kid, I was always like a little annoyed, like Steve Martin and Martin Short. Like I get their names kind of mixed up. I'm like, and they were in the Three Amigos together, I think. I was
yep.
kind of like, what the hell, dude? Like, you can't do that. Don't do that. Martin Short, Steve
Yeah.
Martin. Which one is which? Anyways,
Yeah, and
random.
they're great friends, and that's how this came about. Like they've been friends for forever. Did you watch the Steve Martin documentary?
No, is it good?
Yeah, it was really good. It was really
I'll
good.
totally watch that. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
He's a
I
childhood guy.
forget where it is. I want to say it's 2 or 3 episodes, maybe. But it definitely like it's really interesting because you kind of find out
Why
how
his hair
like
is white?
introverted he is too. Like he doesn't really go out of his way, and so his relationship with Martin Short is very special because they just kind of clicked and they just became friends and they stayed friends. But that wasn't always easy for him, and so it's an interesting documentary for sure.
Awesome.
Um, but have you and Saloni talked about seeing Marty Supreme at all?
No, but I will say that we are watching Heated Rivalry. She
Oh,
finally
good.
got into it because all her girlfriends, of course, are like, "Oh my God." And she admitted, she's like, "Yeah, it was pretty hot." She's like, it's something about two dudes that just gets women, you know? But and I gotta say, honestly, it's better second time around. Just because
Is
there's a
it?
lot of like, yeah, there's a lot of like Easter eggs and crumbs and stuff that like you don't catch the first time, at least for me.
Yeah.
And I cannot wait until episode 3. I think that's gonna blow our mind because like,
Yeah.
Scott Hunter, like he like you like it's like he definitely seems to know something, but then once you actually find out that Scott is straight up, like, and it's just
Yeah.
a really sweet story in one episode. So I think she's gonna love
Yeah.
it.
I really like that episode a lot. Um, so I'm curious to see what you thinks. Did you ever watch Newsroom?
No, but I know there's like a scene with the guy from Dumb and Dumber talking about like the news or whatever. Like everyone
No,
keeps hearing it.
it's literally the first. It's the first scene of the entire show.
Oh, that's what he's okay, got it. All right.
And yeah, and he's pissy. Like he's I forget what he's going through, but he's like, man, fuck everything. And so somebody's sitting there, and he's in like a college campus, and this little college girl stands up. She's like, why is America the greatest country in the world? And he just goes off. He's like, we're not the greatest country in the world. We're fifth in this, 30th in this, and just goes off. And you watch it, and you're just like, fuck yeah. Like it's like somebody is actually saying the thing that
Everyone's thinking.
we somehow lost along the way. Like the whole like USA pride and all that shit was fine, but we're not that great anymore. Like we have fallen behind everybody. Like just, I mean, if you even just look at medicine, right? We suck. We suck so bad. But yeah, it's interesting for sure. It's a really Newsroom is actually a great show. It's Aaron Sorkin,
Yes.
so it's really good. But I'd recommend that one too. But just as something to watch later. I think the later seasons are kind of iffy, but the first season's great.
The one show that I know Salone's brought up a lot, believe it or not, is The Wire. She said she really
My wife
enjoyed it.
has two.
Oh, yeah, you haven't
It,
seen it either?
I haven't.
Right? She says like, you just have to like get past like because the one thing I'll just say, speaking extremely candidly, is like besides Saloni and of course Brienne, right? Is it Brienne?
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, Brienne. I feel like a lot of people were like, "Oh my God, The Wire." Like I've always kind of like, like you might be a little racist just because like I feel like there's kind of like some negative stereotypes that are totally like put up front or whatever. But that's just me being real.
Yeah,
But I know that like for her what it was just it just shows the systemic nature of like corruption and each season goes deeper and deeper and deeper into the layers of how fucked everything is.
Hmm.
So I mean, and obviously we got what's his name, two major ones out of the fucking what's his name, uh, Idris, and we got the other one, Killmonger. So
Hmm.
hey, it's frequently cited. But anyway, that's just
Yeah,
one show that she's
always
brought up.
listed as one of the best shows
Hmm.
ever.
Yeah,
And like, I haven't watched that. I haven't watched The Sopranos.
neither have
Like,
I.
there's these shows that I know I need to watch. Like, I need to fill that gap.
Yeah.
I just never get to them. But if she talks you into watching The Wire, you should tell me, and I'll just force myself to watch it too.
Okay. Yeah, I was
Um,
also confused because I was like, is this FX or HBO? And I think it was FX, but there's a lot of
no, it was
cursing in
HBO.
it. Oh, it was HBO? Okay, I was gonna say, I was like, this is a lot.
FX was The Shield.
With Chickless. Got it. Okay,
Hmm.
yeah. All right. Okay, cool.
But
But
yeah,
yeah, I
The
started it.
Wire. Yeah, I think I did too. I think I watched some of the first episode.
Yeah. Or I watched like a couple episodes, then I fell off, but not because I didn't like it, just life.
Yeah.
But okay. So Newsroom, I think you said Newsroom, Ted
Hmm.
Lasso, and The Wire. And then Sopranos, the one that started it all.
Yeah. The other one that there's a big gap for me is West Wing. I still need to watch that too.
Oh man, that's fucking network television. Yes, we know it's Sorkin. I did ask Jen one time because Jen's maiden name is Sorkin. I said, "Are you related to um?" And she's like, "Not to my knowledge, but because that's not a very Aaron Sorkin. It's not a very common name.
No,
So
you can claim that shit. I'd be like,
I
definitely.
there's something. Yeah, it might be like there's something, dude. She's certainly closer related than I am, or you
Yeah,
are.
that is true. That is true. But the dude's good. Like I remember, I think I was in college and there was a show called was a Sports Night, and it was Bill Macy and a handful of other people, and it was literally a play on ESPN, and it was dramedy. Like it definitely had its humor, but it was actually really good. And I was like, what is like who is this guy? Like it was Sorkin before I knew who Sorkin was. I don't remember if it predates West Wing. But I just loved that show, and then I didn't pay attention to him after that for a while, and then like a few years down the line, I was like, "Shit, Sorkin's done everything." Like
He was
he's a
like
big player.
it was what's his name? Well, there's Aaron Spelling, of course, from like the 80s and the 90s.
Hmm.
But I'm thinking about the guy who did what's it called? Um, Alan McBeal. He was around for a while too.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Um,
David E. Kelly.
Thank you. David E.
Yeah,
Kelly. He had Boston Public, then he had, of course, the one with the lawyer one with Captain Kirk and James
yeah,
Spader.
Boston Legal.
Boston
I
Legal. Yep.
fucking love that show
Okay.
because I caught the last season of The Practice, and James Spader showed up in that, and like I started watching The Practice. Great show. Started to really get into it. James Spader shows up. Total dick. Like he's like semi-villain level, right? And then the show ends and they spin him off into Boston Legal. You
Wow.
bring in Bill Shatner, who is now the head of this firm. Dude, that show was good because he was Spader was an unscrupulous lawyer, right? Like he pushed boundaries and did shit. And he becomes best friends with um Denny Crane is his
Yes. Denny Crane.
yeah,
Never
and it's
watched a
just
single episode, but I know the name.
yeah,
That's so
Denny
fucking
Crane.
cool. Yes.
Yeah, dude, and it's just their relationship is so great because like he's just maybe a hair senile, like he's just a little off, and you can tell that like for as shitty as James Spader's character can be, like he looks out for him. He actually cares for him and takes care of him. And like I think every episode ends with them smoking cigars on the balcony of the office building. Like it was a really good show. Like I need to go back and watch it. My wife says that all the time because I got her into it and we really really enjoyed it.
Was it on
Um,
at the same time as Lost? Because I feel like, no pun intended, but like the mid zeros was like my Lost era. Like I
yeah,
literally, there's so much TV that just kind of came and went.
it had to be because I think it started before my wife and I were together.
Yeah.
So 2006, 2007, somewhere in there,
Yeah.
um, which so fucking long ago.
Right? It actually feels vintage, and it's like this was like the world was different. There was no YouTube. There was no like
Yeah,
streaming really. Like it was just it literally was it feels like the 90s now compared to like
yeah.
now. But I'm
That's
kind of
why.
nostalgic for it.
Yeah, that's why I always feel like you can watch Lost now, and I think we did our best to try and kind of recreate that experience for a while, but like the impulse is to binge watch, right? And so you don't get the experience you got with Lost back in the day when the only people you could talk about it were people around you that had watched it, or if you were nerdy enough to understand forums. You had to go to internet forums to find shit that people were discovering at the time. And that was crazy. Like people were like freeze framing single episodes and doing all kinds of shit back in the day. Like that was not a thing that people did for any other show. And it was such an experience. And like I said, I remember just at work, everybody was talking about it. You know, you sit down for lunch and people are like, "Do you see Lost? What do you think is happening? Who's the, blah, blah, blah." And because it was that show, like it was just the twisty and turning like that. Um, and now we don't have that. Now we got dipshits like us with a YouTube channel to talk about every fucking thing every week. So like everything's out there, and you've got the episode breakdowns and people looking for all the Easter eggs and all that shit in like every episode of every show. And it's just a different time now.
A different time. But I will say
Yeah.
though that there's some really good analyses that I've seen. Like even like
Uh,
I'll just say like Invincible that I'm actually kind of obsessed with right now. And there's one channel I found, and this guy just took a single line made by Adam Eve's mom and came up with something so deep that I was like, damn, like it was like a 20-minute analysis about literally just the idea that being resistant to change means death. Insane. Like, I mean, I'm telling you, like, and I bought it. I was like, wow, that's so anyway, I just bring all that up to say, on one hand, wow, I just kind of blew my own mind. On one hand, it's cool to wax poetic about the past and how that's now gone and we'll never have that again. But at the same time, with change comes, some good
mhm.
things. Like, and I do think that, you know, some of us are getting smarter and more profound and more analytical, and some of us are. It's like a K-shaped
Yeah.
trajectory. But
Yeah,
anyway,
it is interesting, and I think you've got both sides of it. You've got people that um, will just spout nonsense, right, about a show, and so we see that with news now, with film news,
oh,
right? They'll be like, Henry Cavill's going to play Superman again, and blah, blah, blah. The Snyderverse is coming back, like all this stuff, and they're like, sources say, and I'm like, no fucking source said that. Sources, trust me, bro. And so like it's just, and then you have the people that do get it, the people that genuinely like do something like that, take something and they do that. But then we have on the flip side of it, the people that watch that start to see this stuff as like canon and then get mad at a show when they don't integrate this stuff that somebody spouted off that was maybe a great idea, not to bash the idea, but they're not in the writer's room, they're not part of the show, and then they get mad when it doesn't come to be. And you're like, but that was just some dude's idea. And it was a good one. That's what fan fiction is for. Go write the fan fiction, go read the fan fiction, but remember where canon lies in all this. And that becomes a thinner line. And now with AI, have you seen like have you seen that fight between Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise, which is a
I did.
terrible fight, actually, if you really watch it. They only hit each other with their forearms the entire time. It's ridiculous. But like I mean, we're really close to some idiot just being like, make this episode of this show with this in it.
Thousand
And
percent. Did
yeah,
you see the one where it was Jack survives, like for Titanic? That was
no.
hilarious. Same damn, like I saw one, I think it was on Instagram. It was like the same, like story with like different like sections, and the Tom Cruise one was the first one, and then there was one with yeah, where Jack is literally like lying in the book, and he like he coughs, he gets up on the door, and like because there's enough room for both of
Yeah,
them,
yeah, there was always
and
enough room.
then and it's all better. And there were a couple other movie scenes where like they just flipped it. Oh, there's some funny ones with Bruce Lee. Anyway, but man, shoot, yeah,
Yeah, that stuff makes me curious because I wonder where the real legality is going to come. If people keep making this stuff, like, who do you, if it was you, if your face got put onto something, who do you sue? Do you sue the person that chose to make the content? Do you sue the AI
both,
company that pulled your face into the content? I guess you
both.
start with both and see which one you actually win, right?
Yes, thousand
And set
percent.
that precedent.
Because
Um,
I think that that's why the cable companies will like fuck your shit up, like if you start pirating, right? Because I think that technically, like the film studios can go after both the cable system and the pirater, which is why
mm,
I think that's how it works. So, because I think I just know that you usually get like a warning, like from the cable company, I think,
mhm.
and then they might even ban your IP or whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's the way it would work.
Cool. Well, you want to get going for reels, and I'll probably edit some of that other stuff in.
Absolutely.
All right. So, since we both watched it, we might as well talk about Predator Badlands, which is now out on Hulu, was in theaters, stars a dude whose face you never see, although I don't know his name, and then Elle Fanning.
Yep.
And that is really it for as far as actors go. The guy, the story behind the dude is that um, he was like physically on set. So like for a good chunk of the film, like she was kind of on his back and stuff. So they filmed all those scenes together, and so they actually developed a really nice relationship, even though he was, the predator. Um, but it was an interesting film because I wasn't ready for, and I should have been, for him to never speak English. Like so you had to read dialogue for him the entire film.
Hmm.
Um, Elle Fanning was a nice addition because she spoke, in a language that I could hear and not have to deal with. But um, it was interesting. I mean, what did you think just of the movie overall?
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it's funny too because the word humanize came to mind, and I just thought to myself, man, that is so species centric, right? Because like so humans are the only ones that are like worth like empathy and caring. But then I was reading some reviews of the film and they were all talking about, oh, the attempt to humanize or whatever. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. But no, I never once thought I would ever actually like give a flying F about a predator. Like what the predator was like, you want him dead. Like he's cloaked, he's hunting
Yeah.
people, he's going to different planets. They're a-holes, right? But Deck, like when you see the Brotherhood bond and then what happens, and then the a-hole dad, I absolutely cared about Deck. And it was also an organic, like, humanization, if you will, because
Yeah.
yeah, he's still like a predator when he crash lands on that Genna planet and he starts like surviving things. But certainly, I think what won me over, I'm just talking like freely really quick. It's not like whatever, I just gotta say it, was the whole found family theme
Hmm.
and particularly that little ball. We're not going to spoil anything just
But
yet, but Bud, Bud was adorable, and I was actually almost like at a certain point I was like, okay, this is getting a little too cute. So I'm glad that Bud went away for a while. It was good
mhm.
balance, but it was just like Bud was, and Elle is honestly. She's angelic, dude. I'm sorry. Like she's a cute, angelic, cherubic, tall
But she
actress.
played a good dick too. Like
Oh
when she played
yes.
the other side of the coin, when she played the
Yes.
other
Yes.
android, like she
Hmm.
was not cool, man.
No.
She sucked. And so like it was really cool because I wasn't expecting that. I don't remember seeing a second character
No.
in any of the trailers.
Mm-mm.
So I wasn't expecting her to show up in that capacity. So it was really kind of fun and refreshing to see her play this second character that you get to see her expand her range. And I'm biased, I think, but I think I'll always be Team Dakota over Team L. Not that I don't love Elle Fanning. I love Elle Fanning. But I love Dakota Fanning, and I always have. And that goes back to I Am Sam, like the first
Okay.
movie I can really remember her in with Sean Penn a million years ago.
I
Um,
remember her from Man on Fire. I don't know if that was before or
yes,
after.
that
That was with
was
Denzel. She was like a little kid.
after I Am Sam, I think.
Okay.
But so, I mean, that tells you how young she was, right?
Yeah.
But I've always been Team Dakota, and I love her now, and she's grown up, and I think she's beautiful and talented, and I think Elle is right behind her. Like you watch this and you really see her skill, like how good she is, because she's so like chipper and lighthearted when they first kind of connect, and she's like kind of doe-eyed and she's made that way. Like they actually discuss why she is that way,
Oh, that's right.
because
Yes.
so that
Sensitivity.
yeah, so other things will trust her so they can learn about them. Like that was the whole key to kind of that softness. And I thought that was cool. Like that was an interesting layer to add in there because it explains why
Tessa
the
and Thea.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
why Thea would be this way and Tessa wouldn't,
Hmm.
right? And and so that was cool. I think um all of that worked really well. I think for me that the beginning was a little slow as it started to pick up. It really picked up for me when they connected, when they found each other. But up until that point, it was dragging them just a little bit for me.
Hmm.
Probably because again, I'm watching this at home and not in the theater. I have to read every single word, and so if I miss something,
Oh, yeah.
like I've missed it, right? And so I think that's more of an intention thing than it is necessarily the movie. I think if I had watched it in the theater, I probably would have picked it up a little or felt a little better about it. Um, but otherwise, once it gets going, the pacing is great. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought Deck, like you said, was a great character evolution, right? Because he was the cocky kid that wanted to make it. Then dad was like, "Nah, you kind of suck, dude," and then tried to kill him and whatever. And then his brother is like, "Yeah, no," and saves his life at the expense of his own. And and then you see, Deck go through the paces, and he really can't see the world as anything but his worldview as a predator. So he doesn't see Bud as anything other than an animal. He doesn't see the android as anything other than a tool. Like it's really interesting. And then you finally see him grow through the end. And the ending of it I thought was really cool. I thought they set themselves up. Before we started recording, we talked about Dan Trachtenberg,
Yes.
and his kind of role in all this. And he has done a great job at ending these films in a position where they're like, there is definitely more to the story,
Hmm.
right? Because Prey, he did Prey, right?
Yep, he did.
And that one ends, and then that one's really cool because if you watch the credits, they show all these other Predator experiences, like kind of animated through the credits, and so they really set you up for all these other things.
And also, he was behind Predator Killer of Killers, the animated one as well. So
Yeah,
he's building a world, and he's building a world in which it'll be cool to potentially see like Deck and all the other characters all in one spot. You never know.
yeah.
But for me, what really kind of made me respect Dan is I showed Saloni 10 Cloverfield Lane. That was his
Mm.
very first film.
Oh,
And
okay, I
I
didn't know it
think,
was his first.
right? Yes, his feature film debut was 10 Cloverfield Lane. And that movie is a haunting kind of, it's a haunting, I think masterpiece is too strong of a word, but it's definitely like better than just like a regular movie. It's a
Yeah,
good movie,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, that
So,
was tricky because you think when you're watching it, it's really going to be so tied into Cloverfield. And what we found out later on is that these movies kind of got bought after the fact and then added into the Cloverfield universe. So like
yes.
um, that movie didn't necessarily have anything to do with it at all. And we saw that work beautifully for that because at the end they do pop out and there's stuff going on. The other one that they bought sucked.
Cloverfield
Uh,
Paradox was terrible.
yes, Cloverfield
Terrible.
Paradox, that's what it was called. And yeah, it was just not good. Like
No.
there was some potential there and it just didn't work. And then they tried to tie it in and it didn't work. But 10 Cloverfield Lane was pretty brilliant. I
Yeah,
mean, it was really actually a lot like this. It was only two characters almost the entire time.
exactly. And you actually give
Um,
a ish about the characters, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
So that's why I feel like, you've taken this franchise that had kind of gone down the road of like, I mean, I never watched any of the AVP movies, but
no,
they're
I didn't
probably
either.
good for their time, like in the 90s and
I
early
think they were what
zeros.
they were supposed to be, is just fun, right? They were
Yeah.
action and fun. They weren't, I've never heard anybody say they're great movies.
Right.
And I
Exactly.
think the depth we've seen from the Predator films and kind of the switch we've seen, right? Like when you watch Prey, the Predator's still the bad guy.
Yes.
And Amber Midthunder, I forget her character's name. But she was dope. Like she was
Yes, she
badass. Like
was
I
really dope.
really enjoyed her work in that. And then the was it Killer of Killers that was called?
Yeah, yeah. Naru was her name. And then Killer of Killers, it's like you're seeing, I think it's like three different stories in one
Yeah, it's
film.
three or four. Yeah, I think it's three. I know there's like a World War II era kind of one.
And there was the Japanese samurai one.
Yeah,
And then there was like, I think there's a third.
yeah. There's one more. I don't remember what it was.
Almost like a Viking
Um,
thing, maybe. It was like
oh yeah, 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 yeah. And yeah, those were all really
yeah, it was
good.
Viking. Yep. The shield, the sword, and the bullet. Man,
That's
and
right.
then the battle. And then that's where we meet they all come together. So it's like
Hmm.
yeah, it was great, man. So the reason why I just bring all that up is because like, dude, like you're actually building a universe. And just like humans, like there are a-hole humans like, Adolf Hitler, for example, and then there's like cool humans like us, and then there's like, and there's like, cool predators like Deck. There's asshole humans like, I mean, asshole predators like Deck's
Like his
dad,
dad. Yeah.
so it's like, so it's like, yeah, because I think before this film, frankly, yeah, I just would have thought of all Yautjas as like, yeah, they can go. And like, what about xenomorphs? Like they're in the, I love the fact that like Weyland Yutani's in this. Like I
Yeah, yeah.
love that.
They finally like legitimately cemented because AVP always had that feeling of being for fun, right? Like it didn't necessarily feel like it was canon to the original Alien or canon to the original Predator. It was just these movies that they made that were fun. But this takes like a serious angle on it and says, yes,
Mother.
these now exist. Like we could see a Yautja in the TV show,
Yes,
uh,
Alien Earth.
Alien Earth. We could see that. We could see, them cross over into this. Like, there's there's a million things they can do now just by hard cementing them as Weyland Yutani androids. And not only that, they were on the exact same type of mission that they were in Alien Earth. Like they were out there collecting these things to experiment with.
Yes.
And I thought that was such a cool tie-in. And I never read anything about them like discussing a crossover or them like actively working together to make these universes work, but it sure feels like they did.
Yes, it does. It so
And
does.
so, yeah. And so I think there's just a ton of potential there. And I think the nice thing is that the things that they are doing are succeeding. The what was the Alien movie with Kaylee Spaney?
Oh God.
Anyways, that one was really good, but that's
Romulus.
a Romulus. Yes, that's a modern Alien movie, and there's a sequel to that coming, I think.
It is.
And then you got Alien Earth. Like that Alien universe is kind of coming together as something that is quality and dramatic, and not necessarily only action oriented. Right?
Right.
There's real drama to it, and then you take Predator, which stayed action oriented, but this one definitely had more drama. And it's interesting that the one that was actually about the predator and not the people, arguably had more drama and character depth than the other ones. Even though, like I said, I really liked Prey, and Amber Midthunder and the whole Native American mythos and all that was really great. This for me, you saw real development. I think Elle Fanning's character didn't have to move as far. I don't think Thea had
No.
to grow as much,
Mm-mm.
but Deck did. For this movie to work, like Deck really had to grow and be able to accept these other people that were or other creatures that were good and good for him. And I think that was huge because he he they bailed on Bud. Like he bailed on Bud.
And I
And
love how Thea was like actually bothered by it. Like she would
oh,
not let it
she
go.
was all pissy. She was like, I'm
Yes.
not going to talk to you. Like,
She's like, it was so cute how she's marking you. And
yeah.
again, like going back to that really quick, the whole imitation, I loved that it was so
Oh, yeah, yeah.
adorable that the Bud was imitating everything he did, even with the sword that he took like a
Yeah.
stick with the fire in the end. I'm like, you are so adorable. And the best part about it was like when they first met, like, he was like he's like he's stronger than he looks because they were fighting at first, and then
Hmm.
like he saves them,
Yep.
and like I don't know, I just loved that. But no, I actually read a review that talked about how there's so much humanity like in this movie, but there's no humans in it really, which is crazy,
Hmm.
right? Like that's a cool
Yeah.
thing. And then and honestly, it seemed a bit throwbacky because it like all like the booby trap stuff and the one Yautja against it gave me Rambo. It gave me Rambo with the booby
Hmm.
trap stuff, just being ingenious, like taking the bladed grass and like figuring things out, covering the explosive plant with the thing so I could like use it later. Like, he reminded me of Arnold in a way too, like old
Oh,
school
yeah.
Arnold, like from Commando, and like how like his Arnold would find it like in Conan, right? In Conan the Barbarian, he's by himself going after Thulsa Doom, but then he meets up with like the two other or three other warriors who help him, and yeah, and then by the end, when he actually then faces his dad, at first he's like his brother was able to like school him, right? But he gets back after all he survived and just totally houses those two guards like easily.
Instantly. Yeah.
Instantly, his dad attacks him, and he's smart enough to then use the exhaust or whatever from the ship to like, take
You
out
kind
take out
of
his
negate
dad,
the,
man.
yeah.
So I think in a lot of ways what I liked about it, and also a lot of 80s action movie had just the right amount of comedy. And I
Hmm.
think that this
Yeah.
movie I laughed and it was just
Hmm.
like just the right amount. It wasn't too much. It wasn't forced. It was just enough to like, release tension because you can't be too tense. So
Yeah. It
yeah.
made me think of a buddy cop movie from back in the day. Not necessarily a
Yeah.
comedy, but a buddy cop movie
Yeah.
where these two, weren't meant to get along, had to get along. And obviously there's some humor in it along the way. And then you have Bud come in and Bud's adorable, but it's all about them learning to work together and become this
Family.
unit that they do by the end. And they're definitely like a family. And I love when he kicks his dad's ass and he's like, yeah, you do belong in this. What do they use? Is a clan? Is that what the term they
Yeah,
use?
yeah,
Or
you're just saying I have my own clan.
yeah, he's like, I've got my clan, and then he fucking bites his head off. You're like, damn, bud, you need to calm down.
But and honestly, Bud's mom, like that was scary. Like when
Hmm.
it started regenerating, I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah, I was like,
Can't
I
kill
don't
this
know what you're
thing.
gonna do, bud, but you're in trouble now, man.
Yeah.
And I think I didn't put it together right away. I didn't see that that was Bud's mom right away.
Same. I didn't.
But before they said it, somewhere in there, I did see it. I did figure it out,
Oh,
but I can't remember at what point because there's something about the two faces.
okay.
And they showed the face, and then like I remember what Bud looked like. I was like, "Oh shit!" They're related. I wasn't sure if because we saw the what's it called big monster thing.
Yes.
We saw it after Bud disappeared, so I wasn't sure if Bud had mutated into that, and then that's why when it was on top of him, it started like licking him instead of attacking him. But,
Um,
at that moment, you register the fact that that's the mom. And the reason that it didn't kill him was because Bud spit on him. Right. And
right.
so
Nice.
mom's like, no, Bud says you're good. I don't have to hurt you. And so,
Even though
like,
he was hurting it, but okay.
yeah.
Like in
Well,
my head,
but
I'm
was
like,
he like, I mean, I
true.
guess, but it didn't care. Um, and so like it was really cool to see that part and the way you pointed out the way that he became so innovative at the end to win that kind of final battle. Um, you didn't see that in other Predator movies. Like the Predator has always been, yes, they're the best hunter, but they're also super advanced. Like they've got all these weapons and all these things that, yeah, that just fucking work, right? Like they have an advantage. And in this, he had no advantage. Everything was taken from him. And that helped him become more badass as it went on. Um, and I just thought, that was really cool to see. Like it was really cool to see him again. To just use the term again, just see him grow. Like he starts to come out. I don't think he really doesn't use her name as her name. He calls her Tool until that final battle. And she's like, "You came to rescue me," and he's like, "Yeah, oops." He's like, "I was a dick," And then, but I love how, like, after that, like they have their moment, and then it seems like some dude's coming out to attack him, and just Bud comes through berserk style and just kills the dude. And you're like, Bud's a psycho, man. Bud is awesome, but Bud's
But Bud
crazy.
is a cute, adorable psycho. I
Yeah.
will also say I don't think I've ever seen a scene where an android or whatever has its legs and its torso collaborating in combat. I thought that was actually pretty original.
Yeah.
So, again, like I do wonder if I would have liked this movie if I'd seen it in the theater because like I think it was like straight up like oh my God like is it Endgame or no like it's
Ye-
not that right so but I think I liked it because it was what it was my expectations weren't high. Like I didn't think it was going to be terrible, but
mhm.
they weren't high. But my expectations were exceeded. And again, it just felt throwbacky in that it reminded me of these old school 80s, honestly, 80s action movies where you do see growth. One thing I also really loved was the idea of how the alpha isn't like the one that does the most killing. It's the one that does the most protecting. And I think that that's a cool message, I think, just to
Mhm.
teach people, because I think Optimus Prime, for example, is an example of someone who is more about like protecting the Autobots than killing as many Decepticons as possible. And the idea of just growth. Like, yes, it's great that, we have messages culturally like I was born like this or whatever, like as far as like, I woke up like this, like, but I feel like somehow in some of the generations that have come past, like, I don't know, Gen X, like the idea of like going through some shit to be the shit got lost. And I think that Dak went through some shit. He
Yeah,
did.
for
And
sure.
I think he had to go through that shit to be the shit. And I think that's something that is a universal truth in life, unfortunately. But it is what
Yeah.
it is. The smooth sea never made a skillful sailor, as they say.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a great. It really was just a great journey. But I think you're right. I mean, I wouldn't have been disappointed if I saw it in the theater. Like I would have had fun with it. I think I would have been okay. But this universe that they've built and Prey kind of proved it is just fine on the small screen. I think
Yeah,
it works really
I
well
agree.
there. And I think if they're going to talk about tying these universes together, which they may not, they may just drop little hints and keep them separated.
Mm-mm.
No.
I'll tell you right now. So basically, I think the door is open. Alvarez said, um, he would enjoy directing it along with Dan Trachtenberg. And he says, maybe it's something I have to co-direct with my buddy Dan. Maybe we should do like Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez did with From Dusk Till Dawn. I direct a half, he'll direct another half. Like, so the fact that like both directors are already buddies, that is
That's cool.
amazing to me.
That is.
And I think that like the Wayland Yutani building better worlds that we saw in this film is absolutely like the mindset, like you said, we're seeing in the alien Earth. I think
Mm.
they absolutely can come together.
Yeah, I that would be awesome. And I think these two guys working together would be great. I think it would be fascinating because they are definitely two different directors. Like Fede Alvarez definitely has a more horror aesthetic than Dan Trachtenberg. What do we owe now?
Yeah. In September 2025, Alvarez confirmed that his script was completed, but he would not be returning to direct the sequel.
Really? I thought that, oh, I guess maybe in September. That's a bummer. Maybe he going to produce it though? That actually sounds familiar.
Yeah. You know what? We'll
Yeah, we'll figure that one
yeah.
out. But it would be nice to see him involved somehow because what he did with Romulus was great.
Hell
Um,
yeah.
but and to be fair, like even if Romulus, the sequel to Romulus isn't done by him, that doesn't negate him from working on another film that crosses over. Because I don't think the intent behind Romulus is to cross over anyways.
Right. It's its own
Again,
thing.
yeah, again, there may be hints here and there, or there may be things that we see, but I don't necessarily think that film was intended to be the one. So as long as there wasn't some kind of creative fallout with Fede Alvarez, and I might be saying his name wrong, and if I am, somebody correct me. I'm not trying to screw up his name. I actually really like the guy, but yeah, he's got a really cool.
Confirmed. He's producer. I found it.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I thought.
Good.
And I think he directed one of the Evil Dead
He did
movies. Yeah,
2013. Evil
yeah,
Dead 2013.
yeah. So I mean, he's got horror chops. Like he definitely like it's a very different aesthetic to Dan Trachtenberg, and so I think it would be cool to see them work together to see how they blend the things that they do together.
Yeah.
But I do think too. I think Romulus, even though I saw it at home, I think Romulus would have been a better film to see in the theater than Predator
Yes.
Badlands.
I totally saw it in the theater. I have goosebumps for like, dude, I was so happy. Like the movie could have ended before that final end,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I would have been okay with it. So when we got that, some people didn't like it. Dude, I loved it. I thought like
I
this
thought it was
is
cool. I understood why
yeah.
people didn't, but I thought it was cool. I thought it was really fascinating to see this next evolution or basically just how evolution works. It doesn't necessarily mean it's the next evolution, right? That
Yes.
was just one single evolution in a
But
specific
that was a
situation.
creepy AF
That thing was terrifying, dude.
evolution. Like,
Yeah. I was like, I don't like your face, man. I hope that you explode there in space and do not come back.
yeah. And
Like,
it was evil. It was
yeah,
like it was evil.
yeah.
It was a baby, and it was like, and all of a sudden it wasn't a baby, and it was like big and evil with a human face. Anyways,
Yeah, and I think that's the one thing we've seen here too is that for what we know, the predator species seems to be redeemable, right? Like Deck is more caring, more open to, working with people or whatever. There's no indication that the xenomorphs would ever be that way. Like, I mean, I know
unless we're
in
talking about the dog xenomorph that
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
exactly. I was about to say that like she kind of has that kind of pet xenomorph in Alien Earth, but that's still it still really just wants to eat your face.
yes.
Like it doesn't. It's not like going to be like let's play fetch. Go grab a bone. Like it'll be let's go fetch.
Do they
Throw me a
even
person.
talk? Like Deck is hilarious. Like Deck actually, it's crazy how he had expressions and everything.
Hmm.
But the xenomorph, yeah, the xenos are just, mm, they're all bad. Kill
Yeah,
them all. Nuke
yeah.
more of
They,
it.
they serve a purpose, and that's to absolutely kill. Um, and to be fair, I mean that's what we thought about the predator. We thought that the
Exactly.
predator's only existence was to hunt and be the best at it, and we saw something very different from them. So, I mean, if somebody finds a way to redeem the xenomorphs at some point and like humanize them, I will bow down because that would be a hell of a feat. But I feel like they are kind of always going to be the big bad. And I don't necessarily think that we're going to see predators become like buddies with humans. Like we're just not going to see like this whole like, Starfleet Academy like meetup where they're all best buddies now, and they have, whatever. But like some like Deck could find a way to work with some people, depending on them being the right people, and
Yeah.
with with Athea being kind of that middle ground. But at the same
Yes.
time, we also saw her come to understand what human beings are doing. She may not be a fan of human beings. And she would be very justified in not being a fan of human beings because, like, even her, sister, Tessa, was just like, she's like, yeah, you were a necessary loss. She's like, yeah, too bad.
And that was a
And
great moment where she was just like trying to be like, "You are not my sister." That was
yeah,
like good. It's potentially corny, but it had to happen. And I was a little mad, honestly, that like how the heck did that thing explode unkillable Callisk? But
yeah,
whatever. That was kind of like, okay, really? Like
yeah.
maybe
And like,
why didn't it regenerate? And then even the baby
yeah,
didn't seem sad enough.
yeah. That's true. I was like, oh, cool. I guess mom explodes sometimes. You're like, it's what moms do. Yeah, he really, little Bud was not. Like maybe he was still in the battle high, right? Because they still had to finish the fight or whatever. But um, yeah, I agree. I remember that, and I was just like, "Oh, Bud, it's mom's gone, buddy." And he's like, "Cool. I just want to go bite somebody's head off. Let's go." And so I actually agree there. And I wish I wish there was an explanation as to how she blew it up, like what she had on her
Yes.
that did that. That's the only thing I need to make that
Yes.
scene work better.
Yes.
um, because it just seemed out of the blue.
A thousand
Um,
percent out of the blue. Like it
yeah.
was literally just so that Thea could be like, yeah, fuck you.
Hmm.
Basically.
Yeah.
I love how he's like, that's mine or whatever. Like when he took the little shoulder cannon off earlier.
Hmm.
Um, That was a nice little callback from, the first Predator.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, it was good. And I don't know if it didn't do gangbusters at the box office, but I think it underperformed actually, but it didn't bomb or anything. Um, but yeah, I
Yeah.
thought it
I
was well
think
done.
I think to really successfully keep this universe going, they're gonna have to figure out budget stuff. Like they're gonna have to keep their budgets tight, maybe lower those expectations, and maybe like legitimately, maybe just bring them to the small screen, like they did with Alien Earth. I think Romulus was very successful, and I think its sequel would be successful. I thought there was another Alien movie in the works, but I can't remember. I didn't think Romulus was the only one, but maybe I'm just getting it mixed up with Alien Earth. But I thought there was another story out there that they were going to try and tell. Um, but if not, I mean, that's okay. Like,
Yeah,
just tell me the Romulus story. I like that. To me, that was great. And there's stuff to tell there as long as they keep it interesting. But I do. I think Predator might be served best. Shit, I don't know. I mean, do you make a Deck series like Alien Earth and the adventures of Clan Deck and from there? Although the last shot is like, oh, that's my mom. Like now you're in real trouble because mom's home. So that'll be interesting to see if they decide to move forward. How badass is mom? Because her ship was not tiny.
no,
She showed up in a big ass ship. So it'd be interesting for sure to see what they do next with that. But but I enjoyed it. Like overall, yeah. I mean, it was a lot of fun. It was exactly what I want from a movie like that. Right? Like it's not trying to serve total drama. It's not trying to blow my mind. It wasn't ridiculous. It wasn't silly. It was kind of right where it needed to be.
exactly. Yeah, I was. I'm in a good mood.
Yeah.
Totally in a mood. So
All right. Well, cool. That's the only big thing that we had, but you have been watching Invincible.
yeah, I've been watching Invincible. This will not take too long, but what I will say about Invincible is season four is going to be dropping in March of this year, and I remember loving season one. I think it came out in 20, gosh, was it 2021 or 2019? Anyway, one of those
Hmm.
years. I think it was 2021. It was 2021. I know for a fact it was 2021. That was my favorite show of that year. That's how much I loved it. Season two then came out in 2023, I want to say, in two halves.
Hmm.
And I think that kind of killed the momentum because it was just kind of like, I have to wait, whatever. And a lot of people, I went online and I think it's kind of unanimous that season two was considered kind of like the weakest of the three. However, it's all about that connective tissue. And when
Hmm.
I watched it or reviewed some of the episodes, to me, it was actually better than I think a lot of the people on Reddit, if you will, were describing. So season two was good because the whole Angstrom story arc I think was really actually good. Sterling K. Brown, who is
Yeah.
like everywhere these days, whether you're talking about Voltron, whether you're talking about Paradise or Invincible, he's good. And yeah, that was good. I was totally fine with that. Now season three. I started season three, and honestly, I feel like season three, it's 8 episodes, and it's episode five, in my opinion, is where it just picks up and does not let up. And seasons and episodes seven and eight are like goated, in my opinion. OMG. Um, I would just say that if you've watched season one, and dropped off at any point, I think it's worth it to come back and keep continuing on because the stakes get higher. Invincible's younger brother, who of course is, half alien from the dad after they went to that like weird ass planet,
Hmm.
like he's growing up. The guy from Paul, Aaron, is it Aaron Paul? What's the name of the guy from I think it is Aaron Paul. Aaron Paul's his name from Breaking
Breaking
Bad.
Bad. Yeah.
Yeah, he voices a character who I actually personally can't stand. This character, he's like a light. He has his powers are lightning, and he's basically going after Mark. Invincible Powerplex is his name because
Okay.
Powerplex loses his sister and his niece in the battle with Omni-Man from season one. So he wants to go after him, and he's a little unhinged or whatever, and that's happening. Um, are you gonna watch season three? Because I don't know if I should spoil
I
anything.
have watched two or three episodes. I started watching it, and then to no fault of the show, I was exhausted and I fell asleep, and I haven't
Yeah,
gone back and
yeah.
finished them yet.
You know
I
what?
need to
I ain't
finish
saying
them.
shit. I actually feel like what we should do instead is like, yeah, we can cut this part out. And then you can like watch season three and we can talk about it because it'll be on the lead up to the show because yeah, I do think there's enough like I'll say this like I think what you're experiencing or you can keep it in whatever what you're experiencing is legit because I think the first 3 or 4 episodes are kind of slow. I mean, it's great that Adam Eve who should have been with Mark the whole time. I think that's finally happening. That's great.
Mhm.
But all I'll say is I also saw this thing on YouTube where they talked about episode five being like the weakest episode of the show. And yeah, they're so wrong. No, it's no. I'll just say when you see episode five and then you see it, and I think you'll like it too because I like it when the show, like Mark is definitely part of the show, but it goes
Mhm.
into another character who you saw from the first season, and then you meet another character who reminds me of um Salamanca, like the Salamanca guy from Breaking Bad
Mhm.
again, who like hit the bell, whatever. Like
Mhm.
he had, dude, and it wasn't just me. I Googled, and people were like, "Yeah, no, that his character design, even though he's Asian, he looks just like, is it Victor or Hector? I think it's Hector. Hector Salamanca.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, that's fucking Hector Salamanca. Anyway, but then okay, I'll have you seen any because I saw memes as well for Invincible with this old looking guy, like who Mark has to fight. Have you seen any of
No,
that?
I don't think I've seen those.
Okay, then I ain't saying ish. But anyways, now you don't know you know just about as much as I do. There might be an old looking guy who shows up, and that's all I'll say about that. And holy crap. It was yeah. I actually I'm worried season four might not measure up. I feel like by the end of season three, which again the Redditors are saying is actually kind of goated, it made me want to go back and rewatch all of Invincible. So
Does it
that's all
feel
I'll
like a
say.
place that they could have ended the show if they wanted to at the end of season three? Or is it, I mean, does it set up you like have to keep going with the story?
You have to keep going, and you have to you have to raise the stakes. Like
Hmm,
because I mean, yeah, you have to raise the stakes. There's too much unspoken. I think the only way you make the show really work is we've got to take on Viltrum. Like we have to basically take care of Viltrum.
that makes
And
sense.
we're not there yet, but I think that's the only way to exceed the epicness that we get in season three.
It's like when you talk about the boys, you've got to be able, at some point, you have to deal with Homelander one way or the other. Either he wins or you win, but like that story has to come to its end for that show to end in the right place. And I think Viltrum and the Viltrumites, I think they are
Big
the
bads.
Homelander of
Yes.
this universe for sure. Um, so I definitely want to finish up season three, so we can talk more about the actual like depth of the
Plot.
season
Yeah.
next time. I'll try and catch up on it
Cool.
for that. Um, I hopefully next time we record, which we're talking about maybe doing in 2 weeks instead of one, will be with hopefully Lauren's back. I did watch Marty Supreme, and that was interesting. I went in with zero idea of what it was about at all, other than it was Timothy Chalamet's like baby this year. Like it was the one that had everybody talking about him for this year. I had no idea it was about fucking ping pong. And so definitely interesting. I definitely have opinions on it and I want to talk about it, but I'll wait for there to be a discussion about it with Lauren. The only other thing that I watched that I'll talk about real quick, same as yours, that I thought was really interesting. They have remade the Muppet Show. It is out now. They've tried a couple of times in the past, and it felt like they were trying to modernize the Muppet Show and do some stuff. Dude, if you grew up on the Muppet Show, if that was your show as a kid, this show is perfect. The remake, it feels like it
Oh
is a
no.
direct continuation of the original. And so all of the feel of backstage was there. Seth Rogen makes an appearance in the episode, um, but doesn't take it over. Like he's not really a character. He's just a side character in the way the old Muppet Show is. Like when I think of the old Muppet Show, I always think of the Mark Hamill episode or the Wonder Woman episode, right? These characters and these people pulled in. Well, they for the first episode, they had Sabrina Carpenter, and like she sang a song, she interacted. I mean, it's like SNL but with Muppets, right? And it's
Hmm.
just it's not a show that I think is. It's weird. I'm worried that it won't succeed because it doesn't feel like it's made for adults. Like they did
Oh.
not up the humor to adult level to meet us that would be watching it for nostalgia reasons.
Hmm.
Um, so it's definitely it's super kid friendly, right? I mean, the Sabrina Carpenter song that she sings is a Sabrina Carpenter song. Like it's not for kids necessarily, but it's not vulgar either.
Right.
Um, but I feel like this will have to grab the young audience to be a true success. But for those of us that grew up on it and those of us that really loved the original Muppets, this is this is as good as you're gonna get. Like this is a good continuation of what they made and the way they did it. The one thing that drives me crazy, and it's nobody's fault, nothing can change it, is that it's not Jim Henson's doing Kermit. Like the person that's voicing Kermit just isn't the same.
It
It's not
doesn't
their
sound like.
fault.
Oh wow.
It's close, but it's not the same.
Okay.
And to be fair, I mean, if you've ever heard Jim Henson talk, he was about that far away from Kermit in his normal speaking voice. So, that was just natural. Um, so yeah, but it's fun. That's all it really is, and it may or may not last. Like I said, it will have to grab the right audience. But if it does, it could be a lot of fun. So I would say check it out if you were a fan of the Muppets. If you didn't like the Muppets, um, I don't know that this would necessarily grab you. That's why I think maybe it's in an iffy spot, but it's done really well ratings wise, and it has been relatively popular, I think. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, a lot of fun.
So it's funny. I remember as a kid, Ernie and Hermit sounded the same, and I just looked, and yeah, Ernie as in Ernie and Bert and Ernie
Hmm.
was Jim Henson as well, and I think it's Steve
Hmm.
Whitmire does it now. So I wonder if he's doing it for this. I remember the Muppet Show as a kid, but it was more like I just remember the the theme song, and apparently my dad said that whenever that song came on, I would actually just kind of like act it out, like I just start get up and like I was like 4 or 3 or
That
whatever,
is
like
the opening of this show.
yeah,
They didn't create it. So when they've tried to do it in other iterations, they tried
they
to
didn't,
like update that.
yeah,
This is the exact the
yeah.
music is
Da,
identical.
da,
Like
da,
it
da,
does
da,
the
da.
whole opening scene with
This
everybody
is
in the
what
things.
we call a
Yeah.
Muppet Show,
Yeah.
and then
When
it
it kicked
was
off
the
like
whole
that.
stupid thing.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. When this kicked off, I was like, oh shit. Like they're
yeah.
actually like they're trying. And it was good. It was good for what it was. And yeah, I mean, if nothing else, it's 100% nostalgia show. Like I heard it was out there. I think I was in a rush last time we were going to record, and then ended up not because I was like I hadn't watched anything, and I heard about it, and it's 30 minutes, and I was like, shit, I'll just watch it. And I'm glad I did. It was definitely fun. Um, but
I hope it works. I think we need a little bit of lightheartedness back in
yeah,
our lives, especially in today's political climate. But
yeah,
anyway,
right,
all right, I'm down. I can get with that.
yeah, yeah. It's fun.
What's nuts too is like I think I remember more than I realized because I looked 76 to 81. Those were the
Mhm.
original years.
Yeah.
81. I know for a fact the first time I knew what a year was 82. And I remember being a little sad when I was explained to me, wait, so 1982 was gone? Yes. It'll never be 1982 again? No. So it's 1983 now? Yes. But I like 1982. Yeah, but it's gone now.
Yeah, tough
I
shit.
remember that. Like I remember like, oh my God, years just go. And I remember seeing a calendar. I said 81 to 82. Anyways, but yeah.
Well, it's funny too. Like if you said it was 76 to 81.
Yeah.
I mean, that's only a
NBC.
5 year span. That's
I
like
know. To be
that's like
that iconic.
yeah, yeah. I was gonna say that's like Trek level iconic, right? Like it's just something that we all remember. And I mean, to be fair, like for us to have watched it, we must have caught it in some reruns.
Maybe.
Um,
Or to remember the reruns. But I remember because I also remember liking it because it was right before Buck Rogers. And Buck Rogers was an NBC at that point too. So it's like
mm,
I'd have to like I was always a serious kid. Like I liked like it, but I didn't love it. So I had to suffer through not suffer, but I'd wait through that to get to like that spaceships and
yeah,
everything, right? The same way I would like wait through Hong Kong Phooey before Godzilla because they were both Hanna-Barbera and I remember these things from as a kid. So no, I mean I if we saw reruns, cool. But I'm pretty. We're the same age, dude. Like I think you
yeah,
saw some of it first run
yeah. It's definitely possible. I
Sunday nights.
remember the ones that I really remember. I remember Mark Hamill. I remember Linda Carter. Um, and then some of the bits, like I loved Pigs in Space, like that one always made me
Yes,
laugh. Like all of these
and then
things that
what's his
were
name?
so fun.
The chef, the Swedish chef.
Oh yeah,
You know,
yeah,
Animal scared me. I thought that
yeah.
rocker chick was kind of hot, and then I think the eagle guy was scary to me. I didn't like
Oh
him.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He was awesome, but yeah. And then the two old dudes,
Yes.
like they're back, they're funny. Like yeah, pretty much everything you remember is in this, and I think that's what makes it kind of special.
Was Gonzo in both Sesame Street or was he only in
I
um
think he was only the Muppet Show.
okay. Yeah.
Um, Kermit, I think, actually did the most crossing over.
Yes.
Um, and not many people came from Sesame Street to the Muppets,
No.
but the Muppets went to Sesame Street.
Ralph. I remember
Uh,
Ralph too. He had the glasses and the jacket. Oh, and then of course Fozzie Bear. Waka
Fozzie
waka
Bear.
waka. Yes. Yeah,
Yep.
man.
And then Rolf, the dog, the piano player.
Yes, he was cool. Like
Yeah, he was dope.
he
He
was
actually
just
had like some swag.
yes. Isn't that
Yeah.
crazy that we all knew he had swag, even though we
Yeah.
were all little kids? Like he was the pimp. Like he probably got
Yeah.
all the girls.
Yeah,
I'm
he was
so
dope.
weird.
But it's true. Like, and so like I don't know, some of our freaking childhood is
It was
based
Scooter,
on
not Ralph. It was Scooter
yeah,
was the guy
Scooter
with the
was one of the
glasses.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
okay.
Rolf was the dog.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, just a lot of fun and a lot of the characters that you remember are in it, even if they don't necessarily have major parts. Like they're in the background and you remember them. And the yeah, the Beaker and Bunsen are in it. They have their bit. Um, Beaker's going meep 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 meep, and then theirs is great. I don't. The Swedish Chef is in it, but doesn't have a segment. I don't think as big as he has had before. So, but there's so much growing to do and so much to
Yeah.
continue to bring back that I think it'll be cool to see. So, yeah,
This was a fun, all over the place episode.
yeah, yeah. I think I will probably leave a lot of the what was pre-show in here so people can see what the hell we talk about when we're getting going. And then obviously Predator Badlands, we both agreed was definitely worth watching. A lot of fun, and then a couple of things for people to go out and watch. And yeah, so with that, I will say thank you to everybody for watching. Thank you for listening. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.